example, we're going to be finding an error. Okay, so we want to consider the following incorrect work. And so we could even track to see where did they make their mistake. Because if I were to go to simplify this, I know I need to distribute that 3. So I would get 3x plus 3 times 4, which is 12. So this line up here should be 5x plus 6 plus 3x. And they made an error. They forgot to distribute the 3 to the 4. So we are seeing that it's incorrect. They followed their error through, okay, because then they put their 5x and 3x together to make that 8x. And then they put the 6 and the 4 together to get the 10. So they didn't make any other errors, they just made an error at the very beginning, but it's going to be a costly one because they're going to get the incorrect answer. So we want to use a graphing calculator table to show that the work is incorrect. So the way that we were learning today in class on how to do this is we're going to take that original expression. So I'm going to take the 5x plus 6 plus 3 times the quantity x plus 4. And I'm going to go to y equals on my calculator. If there's anything there, then just go ahead and clear that out. Okay, there we go. And so I'm going to type in 5x plus 6 plus 3 times parenthesis x plus 4. And then in the next one, I'm going to use the down arrow to get to y2. I'm going to type in what they are saying their simplified answer is, the 8x plus 10. And that's what this box over here is saying. Those should match up. We should look like the same. And it shows me that I definitely made an error. I forgot to put an x with the 5, so I'm glad that I checked that. Now what we'll do is we're going to take a look at the table. So to get to the table on my calculator, I'm going to click the blue second button and click graph. And what I want to see is the numbers in the second 2 columns, the y1 and the y2, my blue and my red, they should match. And so what I'm seeing is that these are not matching. I've got for 0, the first equation's giving an 18 and the second one's giving a 10. So there's some problems there. These 2 equations are not actually equivalent because those columns don't match. So that's one way to know right off the bat that there was an error somewhere. What we're going to do next is find where that error is located. So let me go ahead and first put that the equations are not equivalent because the second and third columns are different in the table. So the process of pinpointing the error, the way the textbook does it, is a little bit tedious. I won't lie to you about that. I think it's way easier to just work through the problem as if you were doing it to start with, and like we did here to find out that they didn't distribute the 3 to the 4 like they needed to. They wrote a 4 down instead of a 12. I think that's a way easier way to pinpoint the error. However, there are additional ways to pinpoint the error. And so the way that the textbook has you do that is that we're going to evaluate the expression in each of the steps up here. So you've got the very beginning expression, you've got a second line, a third line, and a fourth line. So we've got 4 lines that we're going to check. And we're going to plug in x equals 2 for those 4 lines. So like I said, our beginning expression was 5x plus 6 plus 3 times the quantity x plus 4. Then the second line, after they distributed the 3 incorrectly, they've got 5x plus 6 plus 3x, and again they forgot to distribute the 3 to the 4, and instead of writing 12, they accidentally wrote 4. That's what they did right here. The third line, I'm going to write that down, and as well as the fourth, so that you can see where I'm getting this from. It's from their work above at the very beginning. So I've got 5x plus 3x plus 6 plus 4. And then they simplified it to 8x, at 8x plus 10 at the end. So what we're going to do is take 2, and we are going to plug it in everywhere we see x in these expressions. Because if they're equivalent expressions, when we plug in 2, we should be getting the same result on each line. So we'd have 5 times 2 plus 6 plus 3 times the quantity 2 plus 4. Either by hand, in your head, or in your calculator, let's figure out what this is. So I probably won't check all of these on this video. I'll check this first one and then tell you those for the rest. So I'm going to hit the blue second button and click mode to quit and go to my home screen. So 5 times 2 plus 6 plus 3, parenthesis, 2 plus 4. There we go. I think I made a typo on my key. I did. Whoops. Sorry. So if you're looking at my key, I accidentally wrote 24 instead of 34. Okay, then I'm going to take 2 and plug it in everywhere in the second line. And we'll see what we get. I guess I'll go ahead and check all of these since I clearly made an error on my key. I don't want to make another one. So 5 times 2 plus 6 plus 3 times 2 plus 4. Okay, that equals 26. If these were equivalent expressions from step 1 to step 2, we should be getting the same result. So because they are not the same number, I know immediately that I made an error in step 2. You could continue checking these though. So if I take my 5 times 2 plus 3 times 2 plus 6 plus 4 and type it into my calculator, we get 26 again. So that tells me we haven't made another error because we're still getting the same result. And then lastly, 8 times 2 plus 10. So 8 times 2 plus 10 gives me a 26 again. So the discrepancy that we see happened in step 2. So an error, oh, I don't know what happened there, was made in step 2. The error specifically was that the 3 was not distributed to the x and the 4. That's the big one there in the parentheses. Okay, getting a little rough. There we go. So locating an error and simplifying an expression. After simplifying an expression, make sure you're using your graphing calculator table to check whether the result is equivalent to the original. We did that in 4.1 and now in 4.2. If the expressions are not equivalent, an error was made. To pinpoint the error, evaluate all of the expressions by using the same number. In the previous example, we used 2, but you can pick any number. And find the pair of consecutive expressions for which the results are different. So on our example from step 1 to step 2, those results were different. That's how we knew we made an error there. So I hope this was helpful. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. I'd be happy to help.